Hey, thanks for checking out this video and dropping your email and ask me to send this quick little video over. I know we're both real busy in life and I want to be respectful of your time, so I wanted to make sure I had the right person. So if you're an agency owner, coach, or consultant and you've been in this game for a while, you're probably doing anywhere from 5K a month to 50K a month, and you're still struggling to hit your goals and become financially free, or you're struggling with, let's say, sales, systems, client acquisitions, or fulfillment, keep watching because I promise you're going to get a lot of value out of the next few minutes. Now, my name actually is pronounced Brennan. The Y is silent. I'm the co-founder of Growth Code. It's a consultant agency that specializes in online service-based businesses and scaling them within 6 weeks, right? In the past, I've scaled two of my own companies from seven figures, and one of those would be Envio, my digital marketing company. Another one would be Review Kangaroo, my software company, to over seven figures. I've taken home, the 2CC awards, the Forbes. I've been featured in there. Been on ClickFunnels Radio, taught at ClickFunnels Masterminds, been featured in Rank Watch, Digital Marketer, and a whole bunch of other publications. So, as promised, I'm just going to show you the framework that I use to scale both of my companies to over 100K fast. But before I do that, I wanted to share some interesting results that I've generated for some of my clients and some of my members using the exact same framework. So with that being said, let me introduce you real quick to Austin. He owns an agency called funnelbuild.com. His agency specializes in challenges. And before Austin came to us, he was struggling financially with client acquisition. Basically, he was in a situation where his wife was, financially supporting the family, and he felt a little bit ashamed. So he wanted to make a big change real quick. So one of the things we did is we installed one of our mechanisms in our frameworks to allow him to start acquiring paid clients. And what I mean by that is we did something which called the VIP day, which allowed him to bring in 12,800 for this before he actually pitched his high ticket offer to his client, right? Here's another one. This is another example of he collected $6,000 for a front end offer before he pitched his back end offer. And then here's another one for a 5K payment before he pitched his back end offer. And guys, I'm going to add his back end offer was $55,000 plus to build out a whole challenge funnel for his clients. So that's just one result that we did with clients. Austin. He's had tremendous success with his clients. Now, let me introduce you to one of my favorite stories. This is Nikhil. He's an agency owner from India. And when Nikhil came to us, he was doing 20K a month. Now, Nikhil's only 21 years old. Now, you can see here by the text, because he has direct access to me, as do all of our members. He goes, secured a 60K deal, 20K upfront, 10K on delivery, 30K as a 10% revenue until the 60K is paid. This month, we will do 100K cash. No joke. Your stuff works. Best investment ever. Now, this is just me responding, saying, hey, good work, Shaba. But you'll notice here, this is within the last 30 days, and he sent this in September. This is cash collected, a little over 80,000 that was in his paid from his Stripe account. That was, like I said, cash collected. We will close this month with 100K cash. Can't thank you enough for your help. Awesome. Now, let me touch base on another agency owner, Ian. Ian's another great story. Ian's father owned a supplement company for a number of years that was kind of flatline. So the deal was Ian was able to quit his 9 to 5, try to help his father work in the supplement company and increase the revenue, and he would get paid on it. So one of the things that we talked about was doing not only that, but actually developing a business since he had quit his 9 to 5 and he wanted to retire his wife and his father. So here's some of the results that Ian got. A closed call number 2 at a 2 pay of 7K. Call number 1, we pitched at 12.8. The offer outside the investment pass. She is speaking to her husband and leaning towards the 12.8. Looks like she is going to say yes and is determining how she wants to pay. I can tell you that this deal actually did close, right? So good job, Ian. Here's another message from Ian, and some of this information has been redacted for privacy purposes, obviously, but this was a very big deal for Ian. So, all right, so I've negotiated a deal with the company, looking at a 10K month retainer plus a percentage of sales of growth, right? Should be a net neutral. If there's no growth, the advantageous to me when I can create even more growth, Do you see any downside or anything to avoid? Now, the reason he asked me that is because I was instrumental in help crafting this structure of an offer. number one. And number two is because I've been in so many different businesses and worked in corporate America that I'm able to see things that most people aren't able to see when it comes to being able to create a winning path for clients and an upside for our clients, our members, I should say. And so my response here was not much downside, minus time, good job, da 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 da. I like the deal, right? So this is Ian, not even 3 weeks ago, with a message to me. Year over year growth, 86% in ecom brands, and 80 income, 85%. Acquired 42% additional. Additional ecom brand, 42% equity in ecom brand, big deal. But what I find interesting is right here. Q4 versus Q3 and Q4 versus Q1 and Q2 is something silly like 880% growth. Oh, and by the way, first 7-figure year with the brand is another good one. So these are just some of the results that our clients are getting. So let me touch base on why some of the other agencies out there are in a bad spot or following a traditional broken model, right? And it comes down to two things. Number one, most clients or most agencies focus on two things when they have their clients. It's either sales or fulfillment. And what happens is you get into this element of being in leads acquisition. That's what you focus on, and then, or you're trying to close sell. The problem with these two things is you're going to end up in two buckets. You're going to get a one-time payment, or you're going to get a retainer, which ultimately leave you in one bucket. You're going to get terminated. And what I mean by this is everybody in this model gets terminated because your clients, hear from somebody else has had a shiny new object, Facebook ads, whatever, YouTube, TikTok, blah, 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 UCG, whatever the case may be, they're going to leave you. I mean, it's going to happen. So, you have a client for 3 to 6 months and then they turn, and then you're, running back trying to get leads and do that. And great. If you're great at sales, you're typically really, really bad at fulfillment, and vice versa. If you're good at fulfillment, you're hurting at sales. But let me tell you the problem with fulfillment. Fulfillment, you do it yourself. Okay, well, let's talk about that. There's a one-to-one relationship with servicing and humans. It's hard to scale because you're trading your time for the actual work, right? So it's not scalable. If you outsource it, I should say, the reliability and quality is, basically crap, and you have zero control over it. If you build a team, right, the problem becomes managing people, and the company becomes bloated, and the cost of scale becomes astronomical, right? So it's not priced for a profit at all. So now what I want to do is kind of flip screens and introduce you to the growth code model. So let me push pause real quick. Great. So here we go. The growth code agency model, the hybrid agency model. Now, there's two successful things that every business needs in order to survive. Now, you'll see this in some of the other big businesses out there, like Apple, Amazon, Apple, Amazon, and like Microsoft, for example, right? So Amazon, for example, has AWS. That's their high ticket thing. And then what you see as their reoccurring revenue is their Amazon Prime membership. The same thing would occur with Apple. Apple has, their laptops, their phones, whatever, their high ticket. And then they have their Apple Care. That's a reoccurring model, right? So you see these things and you're like, wow, okay, that makes sense. So then we talk about what the 6 core foundational principles of business are, right? And this applies to every business. I don't care what kind of business you're in. And I'll just break down these 3x3 side. Number 1 is advertising. Number 2 is marketing. Number 3 is sales, as we mentioned before. Number 4 is fulfillment. Number 5 is finance. And number 6 is operation. Everything in your business falls under one of those 6 pillars, right? So for us, what we like to do is look at advertising as lead generation, right? Lead generation becomes Instagram DMs, Twitters, Facebook groups, YouTube workshops, and so forth. So our Instagram and Twitter, we actually send to a VSL. Our Facebook group and YouTube, we actually, in workshops, we generate leads from those, and those leads turn into sales. Now, you say, what kind of sales, Brendan? Because now we're going to focus on the 2 things that we anchored above, which are high ticket and reoccurring revenue. So how do we do that? Well, number 1, our reoccurring revenue goes into what we like to do is a license, a SaaS model. So this becomes really sticky. And the reason we do SaaS is because we like to interject this into our client's business where they work on it every single day. So now every single member of their team is working on it on a consistent basis, which means it's part of their DNA, their business DNA, which makes it very hard to churn and cancel and all that other stuff, right? So it means we have clients for longer. The other thing is we have a high ticket product. Well, what's the high ticket product that we have? Well, we like to introduce them to our mastermind model. And so what we do is now, instead of being service providers, we come in from a mastermind model and leverage the element of being an advisor, and the dynamic and the hierarchy of the relationship changes significantly from a service provider, right? We're not a commodity anymore, but we're an advisor, and mentor, a coach that they look at as completely different. And then we anchor that by community. So now we collectively put that client, ideal client, with a group of other clients that have the same type of either business or relationship or entrepreneurs or whatever the case with. So you can do financial advisors, you can do this with dentists, you can do this with pretty much anybody that you want to. And now that community supports one another and becomes a collective thing that grows organically on its own. And then we have this other element that sits out on the side here, which is DFY, which is our done for you model. Well, that is the cream of the crop in terms of ideal clients that we want to work with, guys that have, or ladies that have, more money than they do time, and are just like, hey, just take it. We trust you. Go ahead and do it, and just show us what the results are. And that's great because they never bother you, right? It's great. And what happens as a result of this is we actually get more time back. We're actually able to deliver faster results and actually better results, and then increase, as a result of that, we actually increase our profit margins, right? So most agencies will run at a 20 to 25% profit margin if they even know how to price their products or services right. With this, we're usually running a 2.5 to 4 times profit margin. That's significantly more, and running at that. But now you sit there and say, okay, that's all great, Brendan, but how do we support that? Right. And so this is the operations, and when we go into building a growth team, right? Because we're actually building a system where we don't want to work in the actual business. So can it survive without us? So we hire VAs, we hire growth specialists, growth advisors. These are the guys who do a lot of our sales. A fractional CFO, so they handle the financials and so forth like that. They're supported by a bookkeeper. And then this is you right here, the head of growth. And then we actually have somebody that supports you as a VA, as an EA. And then you'll see a media buyer, which we talk about in when it comes to scaling and so forth like that. So that's the model that actually works in terms of being able to scale quickly. I don't want to make this video way too long, so what I want to do is invite you to a value call where we can sit here and jump on a call that I can make sure you get tons of value. And what I want to do is give you the step-by-step process on how we break down the important things and how you can leverage your expertise and build a profitable, scalable consulting business. I also want to make sure that you're going to take home some actionable steps that you can start implementing right after the call. So with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and leave a link at the top of the page. Go ahead and click that. Figure out a time that works best for you, and we'll chat then. Other than that, take care. I hope you got a ton of value out of the video, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.